I think we've all seen those top 5 or top 10 videos of the strongest theropods in the Jurassic franchise. Hell, even I have done it before. But very few have showed us the strongest carnivores in the franchise as a whole. In this video I'm going to be listing the strongest carnivores of this franchise. Some of these won't even be dinosaurs, and no, the Mosasaurus isn't the only one, just a heads up. Some animals from the games will be making an appearance, and the novel versions of some dinosaurs will be mentioned as well. So this roster is going to be different compared to the one I made a while back. From belly dragging menaces that can tank shotgun blast, to one-eye villains that have the balls to rush a T-Rex. We're going to be looking at the top 10 most powerful carnivores ever produced in this franchise. This is going to be 2 parts because I'm still ill and don't feel like editing anything more than 20 minutes long at once. And I won't be including the D-Rex or any of the creatures from the Rebirth trailer, by the way. The movie hasn't come out yet and I don't want to just blindly judge their strength based on hype. Yes, I know the most dangerous dinosaurs are placed there, but just to be safe, they're going to be out of this list until July. And one more thing, if you're new here, then you're probably not going to get it. But for everyone else who's been asking if I'm Caribbean or Irish in the comments because of the accent, you're kinda right. Not about the Irish thing, I really don't know how that became a thing. I was born in Florida, but was raised and mostly grew up in the Caribbean, and then I came back to the States a while ago. So for those asking if I'm Caribbean, yeah, kind of. If I really talked like how I wanted to, it would sound like
Bumbleclot, Pussyclot, Rasclot.
Okay, not that bad, but you'd still be asking what is he even saying for some sentences. Alright, with that lore complete, join the Discord in the description below and let's get right into it. In at number 10 we have one of the newest additions to the franchise from Camp Cretaceous Chaos Theory. He was one of the biggest menaces in the season and killed his sibling along with anything else he saw really. I'm of course talking about Major. Major is a crash-out Majungasaurus that was introduced on a ship transporting dinosaurs where he yanks a Gallimimus by the neck and minutes later comes back to eat more. Even when he isn't seen, you still know he's trouble. The guy killed and ate his sibling or another Majungasaurus as we see in the back in the crate motionless. In terms of size, he's pretty big for a Majunga, almost 9 meters long and more than 2 tons. This puts him in the territory of a large Allosaurus fragilis. The moment the guy breaks out, he immediately starts looking for more stuff to eat, even though he had some leftovers of his last victim. So without any effort, he snags a Gallimimus which weighs more than 200 kilograms and carries it off into the darkness to eat. Then somehow minutes later he turns into Sherlock Holmes and starts looking for every human on the ship. After Darius plays the hero and uses himself as bait to lure Major in, the theropod finds him and casually sends a crate of fruit airborne with just one swipe. And that crate was hundreds of pounds. Trust me, I've lifted a big tub of mangoes a quart of that size, those things stack up. Major is then capable of enduring full-on collisions when he runs into the crates at full speed, because he refuses to slow down and turn properly. You might just be shrugging this feat off, but you try running at full speed and then letting your head and body slam against the crate. For legal reasons, don't actually do this by the way. He does eventually get recaptured as he falls back into his crate, and is sealed away once again, until the final destination. I'm sure he wasn't hungry though, considering he had another partially eaten member of his own species in there with him. Our boy ends up in Africa, which is not too far away from his original spawning point. The next time he's on screen, he murks a lion just before it can jump on one of the Nublar 6. Adult male lions can exceed 500 pounds in weight, and Major somehow put this thing down in 3 seconds. It's obvious that the big theropod would have won, but this was way too quick. Like Major had to crush this thing's skull or something after the grab. That's not all though, the thing put down a Suchomimus like it was child's play. Note, this is the same Suchomimus that was able to kill a bull hippo, which are animals that could weigh up to 4 tons. And it didn't show any signs of injury, yet Major was able to kill it fairly quickly. If you've seen the fight, you'll notice that whenever the Sucho bites Major, he barely reacts and just shakes it off, but when he bites the Suchomimus, it screams out in pain. In the end, he crushes the neck of Acid 87's long lost cousin. Even after this, he still tries to kill something else, but pulls out at the last minute because he decided trying to recreate the river scene in the novel wasn't worth it. Major truly was a menace and one of the strongest carnivores in the franchise, no doubt. But even he falls short of the greatest legend in Camp Cretaceous before Bumpy. He tanked explosions and was willing to run a fade with the White Death. Our favorite villain Toro was bound to make an appearance on this list. For his size, there is no other dinosaur that even matches the amount of damage he can take. And for those asking, no, he is not the Carnotaurus in Fallen Kingdom or the Demon in Dominion, those are completely different animals. During one of the first introductions with Toro, he was able to headbutt an entire fence and shake it. Then right after he saw the Indoraptor Rex and basically told her to piss off. Do you know what level of I don't even care anymore you have to reach to try and send the Indoraptor Rex off while being more than 3 times smaller? I mean, eventually he does listen to her since she broke out and let him live. When he's on the ground with the compress, he goes on a full-on rampage, slamming into anything and destroying everything. Even as he casually turns around, his tail turns crates into wood chips. But the most famous thing associated with this Carnotaurus, which even allows him to be scaled up in terms of durability to the largest carnivores of the series, is the explosion he survives. Darius throws one of those electric prodding sticks at him with flammable gas around the area. Toro then endures the power of like 3 grenades exploding right next to him. This isn't like the Indominus where he just fell from the aftershock or anything, he straight up takes it like a champ. Granted, he was severely weakened by it, but hey, he survived and managed to live another day. There isn't much scenes of him really fighting, but damn, he is good at surviving stuff that would kill anything else his size or larger. I mean, how could you take repeated hits from an Ankylosaurus club to the point where you face plant on the floor, fall off a cliff on your back, and then just decide to walk it off? And after I saw the fall, it made me grab my back. Anky clubs aren't the only thing he can just shrug off though. My guy got smacked in the face with a Kentro tail and then jumped by multiple raptors that were tearing into him, and he managed to send them off. I know you're probably saying I'm just scaling off of his durability feats, and you're kind of right. I mean, he is capable of destroying certain structures, but we haven't seen him fight with any other carnivores when he's not man controlled. This doesn't mean he's not strong though. Most things of his size would struggle to beat him in a fight. They would tire themselves out trying to inflict serious damage. And at the same time, Toro isn't just going to sit back and let them do as they want. Even Major would lose to him. Toro may have been an icon for earlier seasons, but even he would have some trouble fighting off the mindless crash out. The Scorpius Rex was the first dinosaur I saw that made me say this has gone too far. A lot of other things look somewhat dinosaur-like, but this thing looks like a mix of an orc and different reptile types in a fantasy game. It was Wu's first attempt of making a hybrid, and the animal came out horribly deformed. Its body was covered in cancerous tumors, and it had respiratory issues that made it difficult to breathe at times. But the most noticeable problem was its behavior. One moment it could be calm and the next it just goes berserk. This animal doesn't care about size or class. Once something moves, it will try to eliminate it. With that said, it does have some useful abilities that makes it one of the most dangerous things the campers have ever run into. It's arboreal, can outrun the fastest dinosaur in the franchise, and has venomous quills that will usually kill once the antivenom isn't given. With that said, it isn't the smartest fellow. As a matter of fact, it isn't smart at all. The other hybrids have good problem solving skills and other tactics, while the Scorpius just always blindly rushes in. I mean, its attempt on the Ankylosaurus herd was a perfect example of this. With that said, it still has raw power to make up for this. The thing is able to quickly bring down a Ceratosaurus of a similar size and then drag it away with its tail. It can kill larger animals like the bioluminescent Parasaurolophus quickly and then hop to another later. When it reproduced asexually, it got knocked wrong by the offspring and even took the full impact of another animal the exact same size of it jumping onto its ribs. If something even half your size jumps on your ribs, they would shatter and more than likely pierce your lungs, but not the Scorpius. Even at the end when it's knocked off the top of a building, it gets up moments later ready to continue the fight. By the way, that fight with Blue doesn't really represent its strength, because the same thing basically happened with the Indoraptor. Blue was too small and agile for the Scorpius to effectively grab or hit. But if the fight kept going on, sooner or later it would have killed Blue. Both of the Scorpius eventually end up dying due to tons of rubble falling on them, but a multi-ton animal that can crash out and start biting, slashing and shooting venomous quills until it takes its last breath is a force to be reckoned with. Wu's first hybrid was a powerhouse, but there's one that's even smaller and more dangerous than the Scorpius. In at number 6 is the most dangerous hybrid to humanity Wu's ever made, the Indoraptor. Not only is the animal smart, it's also spiteful and sometimes kills for the pure satisfaction of it, which you really can't blame it for since it's been tortured by people its entire life. The Indoraptor we see in Fallen Kingdom was actually a prototype. That's right, it was just a one-off meant to be killed off later. The perfected Indoraptors were going to be made in the hundreds and would have been stronger and more deadly than the one in the movie. But that doesn't mean our Indoraptor is weak by any means. It can continuously take prodding from electric sticks and then takes direct body shots from Owen's rifle, where it then just looks at Owen with a "you really thought that could hurt me" look. What makes it so deadly despite probably not being as physically strong as some of the others is its intelligence. It was able to act as though it was knocked out by the tranquilizers just so the human would feel more comfortable walking into the cage. When the idiot tries to pull out the hybrid's tooth, the Indoraptor raises its tail to play with the person's head and lets out an evil grin, until he finally just gets fed up and bites the dude's arm off. Then, whether deliberate or not, was able to make the escalator door open by breaking the mechanism that controlled the escalator's position, just to kill more people. An interaction between the Indoraptor and the Scorpius is heavily debated, but thankfully most people understand that the Indoraptor would win in the fight. The Scorpius may be a tad bit more stronger in terms of physical strength and has venomous quills, but the Indoraptor is faster, has a stronger bite force. Yes, it has a stronger bite force since the shape of Wu's first hybrid is another deformity. And the Indoraptor won't just rush in, but would analyze the Scorpius and assess its weak points to quickly kill it. The Scorpius will do what it always does. Just like when it attacked the Allosaurus herd, it will start clawing and biting randomly, while the Indoraptor would dodge most of the attacks and shows Wu's first hybrid why it's an upgrade. Arguably the fight would be close because even though the Scorpius Rex is just a mindless crash out, it still is strong. But if even bullets couldn't fully penetrate the Indoraptor's hide, you gotta wonder if the quills from the Scorpius could pierce deep enough to even enter the bloodstream. A close fight maybe, but overall I think the Indoraptor would be able to take the dub. The next dinosaur is probably the most controversial take on the list, but I have my reasons. Very controversial, yes, but I think the Allosaurus in the Jurassic franchise is just above the Indoraptor in terms of overall scaling. The Allosaurus I'm speaking of is the one in Camp Cretaceous Chaos series, the blind one. Weirdly enough, it's the same one from the battle at Big Rock, or at least I'm very confident it is. During the battle at Big Rock, it was able to get hit continuously in the head by Velociraptors and then flipped over a RV which can weigh more than 10 tons. Then it gave the RV the same treatment the Spinosaurus gave the plane in Jurassic Park 3. She tore the RV open and then started to advance towards the family. In the end, she gives up after being shot in the face multiple times with a crossbow. I don't see it directly hit her eyeball, but I'm assuming this was the thing that caused her to go blind in that eye, as we see in Camp Cretaceous. Wait, I almost forgot this. She literally took shots from a crossbow in her head and didn't die. In Chaos series, she again has a fight with another ceratopsian, this time a Pachyrhinosaurus, and gets hit directly in the face repeatedly by it. To put this into perspective, that would be like a very big bowling ball crashing into your body with the force of a car on the highway. Yet it doesn't really affect the Allosaurus, she just shakes it off. She even ran in fade with the Velociraptor pack, who were the sole reason for Brooklyn looking like a pirate, not the Allosaurus. This Allosaurus fights off these crack raptors similarly to how Rexy did in Jurassic Park. Speaking of T-Rexes, this Allosaurus decided to rush one. Toro roaring at the Indominus Rex behind a barrier is one thing, but straight up running towards the T-Rex that's similar in size to the hybrid is another. I mean, she does lose but didn't take any injuries from it. Not a limp, nothing. The adult T-Rex grabbed her by her midsection, lifted her in the air and then slammed her onto the ground, where she then accepted defeat and ran off. Did that humble her? No, not in the slightest. In season 3 of Chaos series, she then put down a Ceratosaurus. I've noticed in Camp Cretaceous the Ceratosaurus are very upscaled. They're nothing like the sleek one we see in Jurassic Park 3. They're bulky and are around the size of a Carno. Speaking of Carno, the ones that in some scenes is a bigger menace than Toro catches her by surprise and shoves her to the floor. I'm not sure what happens after this because the screen cuts to her chasing a guy the next time we see her. Either the two had a brief scrap and neither wanted to do a fight to the death, or both just decided to walk away without fighting. The Indoraptor may have intelligence, but the Allosaurus is at a size where brute strength overshadows intellect. And it's not as though the Allosaurus is mindless like the Scorpius. She's been through many fights throughout her life and knows a few strategies here and there, but the fact that she was able to flip and tear an RV open while being shot by a crossbow makes me think that she would take the dub. But hey, let me know what you guys think. So that brings us to the end of part 1 guys. Part 2 will be up tomorrow or the day following, and that one's gonna have things that aren't dinosaurs, and the lineup itself may not be the one you expect. This time the T-Rex will not just be fodder for the other large carnivores. This one is stronger than the Rexy we see and is not the one from Rebirth. So let me know your guesses in the comments below who it could be. Anyway, with that said, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.